Good morning, guys. Hope you guys are having a great day. A lot of scalping yesterday. Went over the session last night. I hope you guys picked up some tips. And so for today, what exactly do we have? One news that we have, the biggest news, the oil hits 7-year high, right? So we'll just discuss a little bit of that. I don't really trade oil, but I'll discuss as much as I know, as much as I understand that what it means for the markets in the coming months. All right. So, but first, before we discuss oil, let's just go over SPX quickly. So SPX, our put wall has decreased, and if you guys read the Gamma report, this recovery that happened, was mainly short covering, but again, the big moves where it happened, people made their money. So whether it's short or buying, it doesn't matter. But for the people that are day trading, so this was a short covering rally. Now what we want to see is hold above Friday's lows, right? And that's what, like some if we break the Friday lows, the next lows will be obviously this right here on the Wednesday, and then next obviously will be Thursday right here in the lows of the wick. But if we go anywhere near Thursday's lows, that might not be good for the market. We might actually break through it. It's a possibility if we go anywhere near. So that's why I think if we hold above Friday's high, if we consolidate above 4,300, the bull case builds up and the market is likely going to go higher towards the 200-day moving day average, which will be first, roughly 44.62. And then we also have something coming on SPX and Qs, which is known as a death cross. If you're not familiar with this term, I highly recommend you look it up and just see the past performance, what exactly this means. When the 50 MA takes over the 200 MA, like it comes down, usually bearish for the markets. All right, it's usually bearish for the markets. All right, and just keep an eye on this. It's coming up. It's going to happen sometime in March. I think if these lines are going to get close, it's either going to cross or maybe they touch and then just revert back up. No idea what's going to happen. I really have no idea. But for now, as long as all I know is if we hold above Friday's highs, we flag here, there's a good chance the market may rip higher in the coming weeks. And then obviously what we have Fed on March 15 and 16, right? Am I expecting volatility into March 15, 16? Yes, I am, right? Up, down, I have no idea, right? In the longer time frames, I will lean towards my bias of maybe going a little bit lower sometime this year. But March and 15, 16 will know for Q1 if that's where it is. And Platinum Sachs, he said for quarter 1, he's very experienced. He's been in the markets for many years, worked with big hedge funds. So he's calling a Q1 bottom in here for now, which means until March 31st. All right. Now some levels that we have. The volatility trigger remains the same. 4380 remains our volatility trigger. We hold above 4380. We base above 4380. We flag the market is likely going to go to 4400 and then 4450. Maybe even go towards a 200-day moving day average. It might be a magnet pull, so we might go touch this and tag it, right? And the put wall has decreased to 4100 from 4200 yesterday. Basically, what this means is the market makers, they expect the downside towards 4100, the biggest, what they're leaning towards, right? That's the most downside they expect. And the call wall, I believe, is 4400, 4500. You guys can look that up in the pre-market. And another thing that from the Gamma report, what they said, there are still, I'll type this out for you guys, there are still heavy put positions open. All right, put positions open. Basically what that means is they haven't been closed. That's usually a bearish, because those puts are probably bought by big market makers. They're probably expecting more downside sometime this month, or maybe any time. Maybe it's just a hedge based on Russia and Ukraine news and whatever it may be. And also there has not been enough call buying to support this rally. All right, there hasn't been enough call buying to say that this rally is going to continue higher. So this rally that's happening is mainly short covering, and now we see how long can it hold for. It's not a stable rally, basically what they're saying, right? So sometimes this move right here, it could have been much stronger. We could have bought some calls, maybe took some swings if there was a lot of call flow coming in. The only name that we're seeing call flow come in and mainly is Tesla only, right? And Tesla actually paid well. It made a huge move yesterday, right? It paid well. Call buying premiums were increased, they were jacked, and I think it's one of the only green stocks in the market right now. And the market right now is recovering a little bit, so we see what happens. And then so that's SPX, guys. As long as we hold above Friday's high and we stay between this zone, we go higher. We break below Friday's zone, that's when I will be cautious if we have any calls, because then the market can obviously come much lower. All right, so Friday's lows matter to me the most, and some of you guys might be waiting for Thursday lows. But for now, Friday lows hold, we're fine in the markets. Now oil, if we just go on oil quickly, right? Not oil India, I need USO or something. Okay, let's go over USO, United States Oil Fund. Now this is at a 7-year high, right? No, not this. What ticker is on TradingView? I don't use TradingView for oil. It's WTI. Yep, right here. Let's go over the WTI. So we're hitting 100 on this is a 7-year high since 2015. All right, now what exactly does high oil mean? I'll just go over some things. Those that don't understand, for the coming months, it could be bearish for the markets, right? Why? I'll just explain some points. Number one, the expected rate of growth will decrease, with oil high. If the guy, whoever you buy groceries from, earlier his driver may be charging him $100 per week for gas, but now he's going to charge $150 maybe, or whatever the increase is. That price, who's going to pay for it? You're the one that's going to pay for the oil increase, not the business owner. He's simply going to jack up the prices of the products, which increases inflation also, right? Your pay rate might not increase, but the business expenses go up. Inflation increases, the cost of products and services increases. That means you will be spending less. Instead of buying maybe certain wants, right? Your wants will go down, right? Maybe you're looking to buy a new iPhone or something. You might not buy it for another 2 months now, right? And that might affect Apple. Why? Because you put more money towards your groceries or wherever it may be. All right. So in very simple layman terms, I'm trying to explain this. So in the coming months, this could be bearish for the market, because when we have earnings come up after 1-2 quarters, this will impact a lot of this will impact earnings. And if those earnings are not good, the market will, what's going to happen is probably going to go down, right? It causes inflation, and then the economic growth of the growth rate in the economy slows down. All right. And if we go back here in 2008, right, when oil was breaking up, when the oil was breaking up in 2008, you guys all know what happened after, right? This huge collapse. The oil also collapsed, but the markets also collapsed. All right. Although that was something to do with financials, but every time oil has risen up a lot, in most of the times the market usually takes a little downturn. All right, so keep that in mind, have that in the back of your head, because this is happening right now is going to catch up after 1, 2, maybe 3 months. The market may not react to this right now, or maybe it will, but in the coming months the reaction to this will happen. All right, it might be delayed, but it's going to happen. Okay, so that was a little bit on oil. I hope that made sense. And Target, it's up huge pre-market, great earnings. It's up $20. So basically they beat their earnings. However, they did miss on their revenue, but their guidance for the full year is very good. They give a great guidance for the full year, which is great. And their e-commerce business is booming, right? They've worked great with their supply chain issues. So they give some great comments, and this stock is at $20 pre-market. However, it is in this tough zone, right? It is in this tough zone. I will be looking to short Target in the coming weeks. Once I see a bearish pattern form here, it's likely going to come fill this gap. Not right now. Right? Not right now, not today. Maybe it goes up higher. Maybe we get all-time highs. I have no idea. But Target is now my next target, right? For a potential short. So we'll see. We'll let this chart set up. But the earnings were great, and a very nice reaction on earnings in this market. So very impressive. Baidu, Bucky, you wanted to go over this chart. They have earnings pre-market. I'm just going to remove my drawings. They had earnings. They're up a little bit, I believe. And their earnings are, they beat their earnings. Their sales were 5.19 billion compared to 5.09, so up about $100 million from their estimates. And their earnings also beat by 40 cents almost, right? So Baidu reported some great earnings. However, on the weekly, I'm going to go over the weekly chart. We are stuck here in this zone right here. This is a very choppy zone. It's no man's zone basically. Either we hold support here, or either we break through resistance to the upside. For me to build a long position just based on this is very tough. We had a nice little golden cross here, and here's sometimes what death cross does. If you want to understand, this was one death cross. Like there was too many on Baidu, always, because Baidu's been consolidating for a long time, right? A nice little cross down, we had a nice little drop, and then later it tried curving back up, right? It just consolidated, but now it's giving up again. So if the death cross happens again and this market does not hold, Baidu can probably see much lower. All right, and sometimes this also happens. This is one thing that might happen on SPX and Qs, right? So from Baidu, I'm just shifting over a little to a death cross just to explain to you guys. This sometimes also happens. They touch, right, and nothing really happens, and they curl right back up again. All right. So if I go to Qs right here, if I were just to compare this with the Qs, and I'm just gonna go over the daily on Qs, not the weekly, right? I'm just gonna go over. Yeah, I am on the week daily. So this right here, death cross we're approaching. This is the 50-day MA. This is the 200, and the death cross on the Qs is almost here. It's gonna happen sometime maybe this week or next week. Now the question here is, do we cross down or do we touch, consolidate, and go up higher, which might take the market up higher? Many factors will come in here. Let's see what happens. I personally have no idea. I'm just waiting. All right, but just know that this is coming. Is now this indicator does. It's an important one, but it only happens so like once in a while on indices. That's why it should be paid attention to. All right, so Baidu is fine. But Baidu, Bucky is in no man's land. To answer your question, the weekly is in no man's land. I don't know what position I would take here, long or short, right? Something happened with China, Taiwan. These equities might take a dump. Nothing happens. Market rips. Fed says nothing. All positive. Baidu goes higher maybe. All right. TSM. Another chart, it was breaking below resistance on the weekly. Can it make a reversal candle above 110, right? If it closes near 110, 111, 112, that will be a nice little reversal candle. It might this will be a tell for the China and Taiwan issues, right? Because the stocks always reflect beforehand, all right, because they know what's going to happen. And then we have financial sector, XLF. A little toppy pattern. It ran up a lot all the way from 17 to 38, which is a big move given the financial sector. And now it's just here holding the 50 MA on the weekly. A nice little resistance above 40 bucks, right? This sector we've been going since the last I think 3-4 months. It hasn't moved, right? I was waiting for it to hold through 40 to go long, and we did make profits on it, but it gave up very fast. We've been covering this for the last 7-8 months on pre-markets, but again it's below 39.40, which builds a case for a bearish if it breaks below the 50 MA. If these supports are taken out, financial sectors drop when they drop. Like they just drop. It's like a 1-2 day drop, a big drop happens. All right, so that can happen anytime. However, if we get above 39 and hold above 40, a bull case can build on a longer time frame. Amazon also on the weekly, last week we have this reversal candle. It can be known as a hammer candle or even a hanging man, also some people might refer it to. We took the highs of last week's highs. Now it depends how the market reacts for the next coming days. Here it's also in no man's land, right? If you're trying to go long here on Amazon, on equity, yes, it makes sense. I understand it's a little discounted, right, for the coming years. I think it's a great pickup. It's a great skill in, right? But here, if you're playing options, you better be careful. If you're not scalping fast, like LB or T or Yash, Mamba, Bucky, anyone, Swaggy, right? If you're not scalping fast like those and you don't understand your levels, you might get stuck in options and end up paying a lot of money. So you want to be careful, right? Personally, I haven't traded Amazon for so long, and nobody trades Amazon more than me, because for me, the setup is just not there. Scalp, I can do scalps if I want to, but then I'd rather just scalp indices with closer spreads. Why even go in Amazon, right? So Amazon here is in no man's land. Google, one name I'm keeping an eye on, is holding above these moving averages. If the market is strong and if market does continue going up and they don't care about anything what's happening in the market, Fed has positive news, this is one stock that will probably run a lot. All right, this stock will probably run a lot. So keep an eye on Google. I am personally looking to take some positions at the end of the month in March. So March last week, April, I'm probably gonna start building a position depending on how the market aligns. But until FOMC, I will wait, because anything is possible before Fed. We can just have one big drop on Russia-Ukraine news. It's just going to take one overnight gap down for the market to flush. All it's going to take is one day, right? There's moves that we're seeing right here on SPY, or even all these big rallies that have happened, right, from coverings. Any big negative news, this move can be taken down within 1-2 hours if there's some negative news from Russia, Ukraine, if something goes up. And with oil going up so high, hitting 70-year highs, for me, that's concerning. That basically means some news will come out of the market. Can I be wrong? I could be absolutely wrong. But I'd rather stick to that belief or prevent my losses. I might miss a winning trade, but I'd rather miss a losing trade as well. All right. CL. Colgate. Is this the CL you're talking about, or you're talking about something else? I doubt you're talking about this. Or type the ticker in. Gold. Gold is also ripping, by the way. I want to go to gold. And CL at a very strong support level. But if the inflation is high, then this stock is going to go down. This will probably react negatively to inflation. I don't think we play this game too much, so I'm not going to go over it. But I do want to go over gold, GLD. Nice. We went over this the last night. If I go on the monthly, it's a nice beautiful pattern. We closed February pretty good on gold, right? And now March, let's see what happens. We do have a lot of selling pressure above 180, so we might consolidate here for a bit. However, if we take out the so 175, 200, so 200 is likely coming. So 200, once 200 comes, this is probably going to go higher. And then gold going up high. Right now Bitcoin's also going up high, gold is also holding well, right? So now the question is, how do the markets work? Before it was maybe gold is going down, Bitcoin is ripping, or now Bitcoin and gold are both ripping at the same time. How does that impact the market? These are the questions that you want to ask yourself, right? I'm doing a lot of research myself. I'm doing a lot of reading to understand how that might relate with the market, right? Oh, LB, I got it. CL, okay. So gold, keep an eye on it. It's on a multi-month breakout. If gold is also going high, that's also a signal towards inflation, right? So do some studying on this. This requires a lot of reading and understanding on a bigger picture to fully know what's going on in the markets. And apart from this, guys, just manage well. We're doing great on voice chat, right? And it's okay if you sometimes have a red day. Yesterday I had a red day. It happens, right? I mean, I said all day I made one. I made a good trade, but it just turned against me. Red days will happen. The question is lasting long term in the markets, right? If you last long enough, your account stays, the market will reward you. All right, Mamba, he's the best example of that, I think. All right, he's had his very bad days, and now all it took was 1-2 months. Tupac Shakur in our group. Well, that's not his name, but that's his nickname in the group. Absolute killer in the last 1-2 months, right? Made all his yearly gains. So these downs come, but main thing is position sizing and manage your account. You might not make money for 3 months, you might not make money for 6 months, but even if you save your account, that's a win for you. Eventually you're going to hit that big trade in the market, and market will reward you. But for that, you have to be disciplined. You got to pay your tuition fees. God bless you. Back in MSL.